If you've been with me, and hopefully you have, I'm right in the middle of installing two switches into a cut-in 2-gang wall switch box. Here's my ceiling fan switch. Now this is just for the fan itself, high, medium, low, off. And I've got 2 stranded wires. These are the black wires. This is the ground. I've got it all set up for that. Remember, I got a black that goes up to the ceiling fan, and then I have the power. Remember, you have to make sure you remember where all that stuff is, because this is the power that came out of that other splice cap. Okay, so I know if I turn the breaker back on right now, this is the wire that would be hot. This wire would not be hot. This goes up to the ceiling fan. Okay, no power to it just yet. So on a ceiling fan, you always got to look. See there, it says too hot, and this right here says too fan. Okay, so too hot, what does that mean? That means that goes to the hot wire that comes in out of the box that feeds this switch. Okay, so I know this wire goes to there, and this one says to fan, that one goes to there, this goes to the ground. Easy peasy. I'll do that. I'm gonna look at this, and obviously I'm gonna make this wire a little shorter, and I can make it the same length as this one. And I can do the same with the ground if I'd like to. If you haven't been watching this from the beginning, you might want to do that. And I'm going to just, see, I'm connecting this up with little thin stranded wire, okay, which now goes on an orange wire nut. You also have yellow wire nuts, but the yellow wire nut is bigger than the orange wire nut, okay, the hole in there. If I put the yellow on here, I wouldn't get a nice tight fit. I would have a chance of this becoming loose. So because of that, and the wire nut is small, the stranded wire is small, I don't have to have too much wire sticking out right here. Okay, you know, 3/8 of an inch or so. You don't need much. If you do it too far, you could have a tendency of that sticking out beyond the wire nut. Okay, chances are you won't though. Should be fine. Okay, so we know you look up there, and I know this goes up to the ceiling fan. This is the power, so I just have to remember that, don't I? Okay, I take this and take the little fine wires, this stranded wire, twist it together so it all looks like one solid wire. I'm going to take that onto my ground with that little wire nut. Okay, hang on to that. And even though you think it's tight, you still want to pull on it when you get done. Because sometimes you can pull it right out if it's not lined up properly. Okay, I'm pulling on it. Everything looks fine. Now, I'm going to look at this. This one says to fan. Okay, this wire is the one that goes up to the fan. So fan to fan, right there. I hope I explained this properly so that you get the idea that it's really not as difficult as you thought, and that if Joe here can do it, I'm just an average Joe. If I can do it, yes, you can do it. Look on here again, that says too hot, and this is the hot wire that comes out of this box and feeds this fan. Okay, we already determined all the white wires in the junction box got connected together to form the circuit, and we got this hot wire that comes in, okay, and feeds this, and then when you turn the switch on, the power goes from here and then it goes up through here, up to the fan. What do you think about that? Okay, so now make sure this is facing the right direction, and I'm going to have to gently curly cue these wires back into the box in such a fashion to where I can get this up in there, and I might have to do this slightly a little bit longer here, let's say. And I'm going to fold that straight up. Keep your fingers off of the walls if you can. These walls have just been painted because I did some patches here. If you want to learn how to do patches on sheetrock, you can go to my channel page and scroll down to playlists. Okay. Now I have to resituate my wire nuts. Because see, I've got to get this whole thickness of this box into this, back into here. So, got to look at that. I'm kind of hanging on to the box, repositioning my wire back up in there. Okay, like that. And I'm trying to hold on to this box because I don't want it to hang right here. Boop, 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 boop. Because this is new paint and it could scratch that. Yeah, I've done it before. That's why I'm trying to tell you about all the stuff that I learn. I try to tell you so that you don't do the same thing. Okay. Now I push that in. Boy, that's kind of a snug fit there. Maybe I can reposition the wire, a particular wire nut. See with those thin, small orange ones. I think I can. And push this in like that. That helps me push it in without having these screws in the way. See? Man, that's pretty snug. I'm thinking maybe I should reroute that orange wire not over in that direction. Like that. Okay. Try her again. Use the back of my switch to push the wire in there. Okay, that's looking good. Now see, this one has a tab that goes all the way across. No way I can do anything about that. It's going to fit right over that. And for that matter, I could have left the tabs on this one, couldn't I have? Because this one sticks out just a little bit. Man, wish that would go back further. Okay. I think that's going to work. That's looking good. Now, where are my screws for that? I think I got to find those screws, and I'm ready to screw that in. That's all I got for this time, but I'll be back with more videos.